who I've known the entire length of my time in Los Angeles.
How long is that?
I mean, I met you in like 90.
You've been out here since 1990?
Well, if I met you then in Los Angeles, it's safe to say, yeah.
I got here in 87.
And you were... I met you at Dave Rath's house.
Me and Richard Jenny...
Oh, wow.
And John Mulrooney all moved out at the same exact time.
You know what's amazing? John Mulrooney, I would say, I'm confident saying, funnier than both of you guys. And the one guy our listeners don't know who it is.
Well...
Like, he's a savage on stage.
For a while, though, he was... When we moved out here, he was, on fire. As a matter of fact, I can tell you Bruce Smirnoff, our friend Bruce Smirnoff. When I first moved here, I was kind of hot.
Bruce Smirnoff is a comedian who's a dear friend of ours who moved to Florida.
Kind of Catskilly.
Kind of.
Well, I'm just trying to describe.
Jackie Mason look like Redford.
So he would call me up. You'll love this story. This is a total inside story. But remember Rick Messina?
Yeah.
Rick Messina booked Rascals at the time, and he moved out here. He stayed on my couch. But before that, Bruce would call me all the time, and he was flat out about his distaste for me. But he would say, let me tell you something. For some reason, they are going crazy for you. You talk about your cock for 20 minutes, and they're going nuts, and you're going to have a series. And you know why I'm calling you? I'm kissing your ass because I'm going to be the neighbor when you have a series. I'm going to be the annoying neighbor who comes, that's what I'm going to do. That's why I call you all the time. Personally, I think you stink. He would call me and tell me this, and I would howl laughing. And then he would say to me, who's this goon you moved out with, Mulrooney? This guy,
this goon.
He's Jethro Bodine from Brooklyn. He's got a 6th grade education, and they're going nuts. Bud Freeman is coming all over him. So cut to, he calls me up, and he just goes into his routines with me when he would call me. He'd go, hey, guess what? I don't have to kiss your ass anymore. My buddy Mulrooney got the Late Show. He replaced Joan Rivers, and now I have my nose so far up his ass, I'm sniffing his colon. I don't need you anymore. I'm not going to be the neighbor. So he dismisses me, and all of a sudden he's all over Mulrooney, his new buddy.
But
so now
he's so honest about it.
Exactly.
That we love that.
We love that he is coming. He's telling us flat. Has he ever done that with you?
Yeah.
Tells you flat out that he thinks you're terrible?
At 49 years old, yes. At 49 years old, I'm realizing, like, what are my values? Like, what do I stand for? And more than anything, what do I value in someone else? Mm-hmm. And I think with comics, it's honesty.
Yeah.
Don't fucking lie to me.
Well,
let me know what's up.
And that goes for the stage, too. Is the truth is the best.
I think it's because of the stage.
Yeah. Well,
that I realize my best connections is when I'm telling the truth, and literally when, look, we've been doing this a long time. Mm-hmm. I say on stage, I've been doing this 32 years. If the show sucks, it's you. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, like, if they suck one night, they're lying. Because this shit is great.
Right.
I'm sharing it because it's great.
And there is that, it's a very ethereal connection that you're actually having with the audience, because there's no filter of lies. There's no filter of dishonesty. There's no filter of not being authentic. The more authentic you are, the more they can relate to you and connect with you. Those are the best shows
versa,
you can
the more I can connect
exactly,
with them.
the best shows you can have.
Bruce
So Smirnoff is always honest. So cut to Messina moves out. He wasn't a big manager at the time.
You're out?
And he was. And
I'm with Mulrooney. You're out?
He stays on my couch.
Messina?
So he launches. So Bruce calls me, thinking it's me answering the phone. I was on the road, and Messina's on my couch. He launches into the following monologue.
Who, Messina?
This is to Messina, who booked Rascals.
Because he thinks Messina is you.
He thinks it's me.
Okay, this is amazing.
He goes, guess what, babe? They got rid of Mulrooney. I don't have to kiss his ass anymore. I'm back to you. They finally figured out he's got no talent. He puts a glass in his mouth, and he has nothing. And guess what? I don't need him anymore. And there's silence, and he goes, Craig. He goes, no, it's Rick Messina. He goes, I guess I won't be working Rascals. He goes right to the self-obsession.
I was with him in Vegas. It was me, Rich Voss, my roommate at the time, Mike DiNicola, all comedians, and then Smirnoff. And we were not Vossy sober at the time, but it was pre-98, so I'm high and drunk as hell. We're all just hammered. And we get in this cab and we go, Continental, we're going to go see Cookie Jar. And I go, Continental, please. And the driver goes, hotel or airline? And Rich Voss goes, do you see any fucking luggage, pal? Like, Smirnoff is silent this entire drive. Like, someone farts, we're all blaming Voss. Smirnoff just, and then we get out, and the big joke is we're not going to pay the taxi driver because we thought he was rude and we're drunk and high. So we all we just bounce, we just run, and we leave Smirnoff in the cab, and he has to pay.
Right.
So we're all inside the Continental, which is now gone, waiting to go see Cookie Jar, but we got to wait for Smirnoff to come in. Finally, he walks in like a half hour later. He walks in, and we go, what happened? And he goes, he called me a kike. We had words. He's dead. I got to go underground. Turns around and walks out of the casino. He never saw the show. And then at the show with Cookie Jar, Rich Voss goes, could I have $100? I lost it on craps, but I'm come back. I go, yeah, here's $100. I just got paid from the Paris. I had a lot of dough. It was weird. So he comes back like 2 minutes later. Cookie Jar's on stage. If you don't know me by now, you'll never ever. And then Voss comes back 2 minutes later. He goes, give me another 100. Now I know I'm feeding an addiction.
Sure.
And it's just funny and it's a show. So I give him $500 and I go, just go. It's all right.
Go play craps.
Exact same amount of time goes by. He comes back to me, and before he speaks, Cookie Jar, you'll never ever, he's got a sickness. Handcuff him to the fucking table. Me.
By the way, Smirnoff.
He knew what he was asking for and everything.
Smirnoff does not like, you and I kind of come from like, streets, and he doesn't like when you, he takes a back seat when he sees you behaving like that. He gets very uptight.
Like
what? Well, like back in the day, he goes, I was with you at the bar, and you see girls, and you become a Zulu warrior. You take the cock out. I gotta go.
So he did like me giving Voss money?
No, the whole thing, like leaving him in the cab. He's not like into pranks, and he's not into.
I learned that. He left.
We were in acting class one time, and Howard Fine, he's okay, class, this is what we're going to do. We're going to say why we came to class is our first day. We're on a circle. All these actors, very serious actors, and Smirnoff. So we're going to say why we came to class, who sent us to class, and what we hope to achieve in class. So the first girl goes, she goes, well, I'm here because my husband is vice president of Universal, and Smirnoff is doing these asides with me. He goes, he knows he has 3 hours to bang the mistress at the Four Seasons. So he's heckling each one that goes. And then the next one would go, I'm here because my husband is a producer. She's on the Kinder Self-Express train. And he's whispering this to me. I'm howling laughing. I'm supposed to be serious taking this acting class. So then it comes to him. He goes, hello, everybody. I'm Bruce Smirnoff. I am here because I heard if I have Howard Fine on my resume that I'll become big. I'm going to become big in the business. And I'll because I was a fat shit kid. I had a picture. It was so big, it fell off the wall. And I am here because I have Howard Fine on my resume. And the way we met was, I met you at Candy Herman, my old acting teacher. I met you at her Halloween party. You were dressed as the Queen of Diamonds. And he goes, I was the king. I don't know what made me think you were a queen. He starts trying to get out of it. He goes, I'm not saying the right thing right now, am I? Looks like I'm not going to have you on the resume.
This is as he's introducing himself.
He's introducing himself to the whole class, and he goes, I don't have a producer husband. And he just says, he's heckling people.
Oh, that made me think of him.
He wouldn't concentrate. He's the worst. So one day we're watching these actors. It was back in the Mickey Rourke day. Everybody went to be Mickey Rourke.
How could you concentrate on that shit?
Oh, I know. It's horrible. And he's back and he writes a letter, right? He's writing a letter. He's so bored. And I steal the letter for my monologue. It was his letter. And it was a letter about razors. He goes, and I got up in class. I go, dear Schick, I am in the most boring acting class ever, and I thought I'd write you to tell you you have the most amazing razor. It's like taking a washcloth to my face. He's turning purple in the back. And this acting
was
class.
Was he going to mail the letter?
Yeah, he was going to mail the letter. He was bored, and that's what he was doing.
They would have sent him thousands of free letters and a pamphlet for mental health.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but
It made me think about bringing him to like an AA meeting because everybody's like, so, this morning I slapped my daughter and I felt,
I took him to one.
Because she reminds herself of you?
Yeah, I took him to one.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He goes up to my friend and he goes, you know what? I have in my pocket, I got pot, babe, and you can't have any because you're one of them. He says this right to this guy he just meets him.
Wow.
He is, like you were just saying,
he loves his weed.
He's just honest.
I remember when I was at the Improv and I was buying shots for everybody. And I'm like, here. He's like, no thanks. That wasn't him. I don't know who I just did. No thanks. And I kept trying to give him a shot. And then finally I go, why won't you just take a shot? And he goes, I'm going to tell you why. Follow me. We go from the bar of the Improv, the old setup, down that middle hallway, through the showroom, into the bathroom. He looks under each stall door, and he goes, are you ready? I'm too high. And he walks out of the bathroom. He's like 6'7", I'm too high.
I'm Big Bird meets Barbara Streisand.
If you were a fighter, what would your walk-up music be?
I'm a big AC/DC guy.
That's a great start.
Yeah, sang at my wedding.
Which
Brian Johnson.
Well, that's good. The singer did.
Yeah, sang
Malcolm Young. It might not have gone so great.
No,
but he's a good backup guy.
But he joined our. He got up with the wedding band. You imagine being the wedding band. All of a sudden, you're playing with AC/DC. And
why do you hold on? Why do you know Brian Johnson so well that he sings at your wedding? And
we
what
became
wedding
friends.
song could he possibly sing? I can't believe that is real. The way that you make me feel.
He sang Mustang Sally. That was pretty cool.
Mustang Sally, now, baby. That's my I'm walking out of here song. Mustang Sally again.
He brought the house down. Place went crazy.
The guy's fantastic.
Oh, he really is. But we became friends. He was in the audience one night in Fort Myers, Florida, and he was on like his second date with now his wife of 30-some years. But they were on a second date, and I kept saying, how do people all know you? Because I didn't recognize him. He even had the Jeff cap, and I was like ripping on him, and he loved it that I was ripping. I said, what are you, the mailman? Everybody knows you. I had no idea it was, he wrote probably the best rock album in history was Back in Black.
It's up there. It's perfect.
It's up there.
It's perfect.
And he wrote it, and he came from a group called Geordie. He replaced Bon Scott.
Rest in peace, brother.
So we became friends, and he even came to Johnny Damon's wedding. Johnny Damon, the center fielder.
He came to your wedding?
He came to my wedding, but as a wedding gift to Johnny Damon because he had just made $12 million. I said, what do I get him? I'm not going to get him.
A baseball player.
Yeah, yes. I'm not going to get him like candlesticks. I got him AC/DC to sing at his wedding. So that was a good gift.
So you got Brian Johnson to sing at 2 weddings.
That's right. Yeah.
That should be the first line on your resume. It should be the byline of Craig Shoemaker. Right under that, got Brian Johnson of AC/DC to sing at 2 weddings.
He did the music for a movie that I wrote and produced called Totally Baked about pot. And
what, really?
And
I thought it was about sailing.
He debuted it in front of people.
Nothing on that?
In front of this audience where I brought my son, Justin, who you know right here. Justin was 10 at the time. I'll never forget this line that he says to me. He's writhing in pain on the floor because of how loud the music was. As Brian Johnson is debuting some songs.
Where is this?
This is in New Jersey at a casino. And so he's on stage and he goes, this next song you saw from Totally Baked. It's Who Phoned the Law? Who Phoned the Law? And he's up there and the place is just rocking. It's loud and Justin's really little. He's writhing in pain on the floor. And he's... And that music is so loud. I hear crickets after a concert for weeks. And this is the line that Justin says, tell Uncle Brian to turn it down. My lungs hurt.
That's amazing.
The poor kid. Yeah, it's Uncle Brian.
He can't. He's too high.
Uh-huh.
I think his hat's too tight. So what, Back in Black,
I would say
Dirty Deeds you're talking about?
Well, Back in Black.
No.
Back in Black and Shook Me All Night Long. And
unless I got it backwards.
Those are the two.
That's the one, Back in Black. Sorry, my bad.
Those are the two.
You got Hell's Bells. Yeah. We used to come out to that a wrestling team used to come out each bell.
Yeah.
But we mistimed the bells because there's too many wrestlers than the bells. So like 6 guys came out at the end of the intro. Shoot the thrill. Shoot the thrill. What do you do for money? Giving the dog a bone. Let me put my love into you, baby.
Give the Dog a Bone was actually after my comedy act. That's how he wrote that.
Come on. Now it's getting stupid. Come on.
He did write.
You know FDR, the New Deal? At the idea of me being born.
I co-wrote it, yes.
When you co-wrote it, let me put my love into you.
I used to call him F.
Back in black. You shook me all night long.
Yeah, that's an amazing
Have a drink
song.
on me, shake a leg, rock and roll ain't noise pollution. This is a perfect. There's not one track on here that I could skip over.
Exactly.
Where on the other one, I don't know if I could hear big balls every time.
I had my publicist. We all went out one night.
So what song?
And she loves him.
Is your welcome music?
She loves him. And Back in Black. So she loves Brian.
We're going to come back to this. Are you going to wear black in the ring every time?
Yeah, absolutely.
In the octagon? Black shorts?
That's me, yeah.
Black cock?
Why not?
Why stop now?
Why stop? He's got
if they let me eat at work, so
he's
be
a
it.
Zulu. He pulls that cock out. And,
it had its own feeding schedule. Okay, please continue.
So I was with my publicist, and she goes, "Can you sing a song?" And he was so drunk. We're all hanging out. He goes, "She was a fast machine. She kept her motor. I can't remember the words of my own fucking song. I wrote the fucking thing." He couldn't remember the words unless the band's playing with him. He was trying to sing it for her. Yeah, I mean, it would be like if I asked you to do a bit from your act, like just talking to you across. You couldn't.
I would
do
remember
it, right?
it. Yeah,
you couldn't do it.
I don't write anything. I don't construct anything out of nowhere. It's all shit that happened to me, and I just fill in the details.
Right.
So if you're like, do about you and your son in the kayak, it's like a 3-minute story, but I can do it verbatim because it happened.
Right.
And that's what
People always wonder how we remember things. How do you remember that I do 90 minutes on stage?
Happened.
Yeah, because you're just visualizing it happening, and then we have the instincts to take over. Yeah, you just take them back, and just and then we add all of the nuance and the jokes come naturally.
I describe it like this: like I take what happens and then I just report what happens. But when I'm reporting it, I color way outside the lines, but you're not sure where and what color.
But the next time that you do it, though,
you
haven't written it down to make it better and better and better.
I just
to find more punchlines.
I don't write it down as my. I'm not being fresh. I don't write it down as my occupation. I say it as my occupation. So I need to go back on stage and continue to say it. Mm-hmm. To make it better and better.
Yeah.
If something comes out ad-libbed on stage, I'll make a note of it.
Yeah.
And then that just
goes in. Yeah.
But I have never actually cataloged my stand-up. And I did 2 hours this summer, so I have like 8 hours.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know.
None of it's written down. It's all in your head.
Corey?
It's all in your head. Wow.
And I got stuff written all over the house.
See, if I'm doing if I like you just took some notes here, right?
Yeah.
I watched you taking notes. You asked me for some paper. I gave you some paper. You write the notes. I do that before I do. Like I have bit titles. Do you do that? Like a
bullet
set
points.
list? Yeah, bullet points.
I have index cards.
Especially if I'm doing a radio. I don't want to repeat myself if I'm on a radio show.
Well, I don't think it's possible actually because from the last time you were on the radio show.
Yeah, but
it's been a year.
But I look at the notes from before.
Yeah.
I say, okay, I talked about
so you
this,
can go
this,
back
and this.
to radio notes from last year.
Yes. Yeah. I take the notes and
that
make sure.
Is some. You know what? I have to do that.
Well, because
some of the greatest content that I've forgotten, probably, and you as well, is off the cuff.
Oh, yeah.
We're so deliriously tired. We flew in the night before. We got picked up at 5:30 in the morning.
Best
it's
material.
A soccer mom station, the second one, so we're losing our shit in between.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah.
But you know what it does, though? It makes you concentrate on keeping it clean.
And
it makes you concentrate on drawing visuals for people that maybe on a stage you wouldn't. There's a different kind of pressure. Yeah. It's more intimate, and you can feel the laughter. It's just a different kind of connection. I actually love doing radio.
I love it too. I mean, I don't like getting up early, but once I'm in, I'm good at it. And I make friends. Like these people become your friends
for many years now. The bummer is they're all going out now, and so is terrestrial radio. I mean, it's a bummer because that's how we used to draw. I mean, right? You become really good at radio, and that's how I used to draw.
It's not from your Twitter account.
No, it's
right.
That's what's driving me crazy about now today's world. I don't want to be an old curmudgeon here,
no,
but
it is what it is. It's not, you're not old. It's what's happening.
Yeah, and
age, it doesn't matter here.
Well, it's kind of upsetting to me because I really do. I honor the craft, and I really do believe in storytelling, and it's just gone out the window. Everything is just so disposable.
I disagree. It's really interesting. I see it coming into vogue. I see a lot more comics telling stories and being more honest.
Yeah.
Because I think the audiences get so deadened to hacky shit. There's always people that are going to go see the hacky guy and whatever. But they're seeking too, I think.
What about the alternative guy? If that's in
he
quotes.
Can fucking blow me with his alternative mouth.
Right, reading the grocery list, and if they don't like the joke, then they have an attitude because they didn't like the joke. Then it's them. No, you should write an actual. You should have a better story than reading your grocery list and being so arrogant.
They go on stage with notes
should,
a lot of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm generalizing, but that's what it is.
Right.
I don't have an affinity for them, and I love comedians because they're self-imposed specialists that only have to do rooms that are good for them. Mm-hmm. Whereas you and I did white room, black room, fat room, Mexican room, lesbian room, biker
Bars.
room, bowling alley.
Yeah.
A kids party, adult party, swinger party, key party.
That's when we moved to L.A., me, Mulrooney, and Jenny. We felt like gunslingers because we really did work the bars and we could handle anything.
Yeah.
Whereas here, they were so used to the regular Hollywood crowds. And
so when people heckle you, it's got to be...
Oh, it's like we would be on stage going, "We dare you."
I mean, now, like you, we're
well, they don't heckle anymore. I don't get heckled
every once
that
in a
much.
while.
Every once in a while, but it's just a flat out drunk.
Right.
But and you can't reason with alcohol.
It's like picking a fight with Johnny Bones Jones.
Yeah, I'm fortunate because it is a storytelling thing to have some respect because it's a headline set. It's 90 minutes long. I usually don't get heckled, but back then we came out here. I remember I told Chris Rock that, and I didn't even know Chris Rock knew who I was, but he was so blown away. I saw him backstage, and Jenny was actually writing for him, Richard Jenny. And who used to call me at 3 a.m. Did you ever get those calls from Richard Jenny?
No.
Shoo, Richard Jenny. And he would always have some thing that he wanted you to solve a riddle. He'd go,
I didn't know I needed to hear that.
Shoo, so I met this chick, Shoo, and she's going to move in. Do I get three lines with one whole button? Do I get? He's got it all dialed in, and he would just quiz me all night long. And you would get these really late night calls. But we came out here, and then I told Chris Rock that. And he just goes, "You Jenny Mulrooney? You Jenny Mulrooney?" He was so blown away that the three of us, because he pictured it back then. We came from New York and Philly and Jersey.
He was calling you Jenny Mulrooney.
Huh?
I thought he was calling you Jenny Mulrooney.
No, you, Jenny, and Mulrooney. The three of you came out here at once because he wasn't.
You felt like gunslingers. You guys are.
Well, we were headlining back east, and we really did develop preparation for anything.
Right, yeah.
And that's what back east does.
It's a quick kibosh when we get heckled now.
And remember back east, but another thing is that it does this, I don't even know if it happens anymore back east. That the headliner sometimes didn't close the show. The MC was pretty much had to have headline material. And you could be an MC and end up closing the show. It was much more now it's like the MC is just up there for a couple of minutes.
I remember shows like that, yeah.
Do you remember that?
I did it myself. When I had panic attacks real bad, I started getting them again, 10 years after Saturday Night Live when I had them. And I was terrified to go on stage because you get anticipatory dread, the fear of where you might have a panic attack. So my week would be shot just thinking about how am I going to stand there for an hour and then do it again. So I would host my own headlining show. Yeah. And I'd do
and you could get off any time you wanted.
Being able to get off whenever I wanted to made everything completely smooth. So there was nights I did 45 minutes, and then Bert Kreischer would come up and murder after me, and I would go to the club and go, you just saw that he can headline.
Yeah.
Like Hook Up My Friends, right? Or like Ralphie May would kill after I did 45 or 40. And it wasn't selfish on my part because that's what I had to do I had to keep earning a living.
Well, let's it's not my podcast, it's yours, but I want to talk to you. I have not discussed this with anyone, panic attacks. I suffered big time.
Why have you not discussed it with anybody?
Oh, I've discussed it, but never on a podcast and never with another comic because I haven't heard from another comic that they share this with me. And it's not a secret. Like the people, the people that would open for me, I'd say, I just had a major panic attack. And
nobody can tell.
They can't tell.
That's the most confounding thing. Why doesn't all these people around me throw a fucking life vest? I'm drowning.
How do they not know that I feel like I'm going to die?
You know you're going to die.
Oh, by the way.
You know you're going to die.
Here's a reference for you that I go through in my head, and this is horrible. And by the way, even talking about it now is bad for me. Like, thank God I'm not working this weekend. Because it is.
No, I'm not.
I mean, you're
not doing anything wrong. It's a neurological glitch. You can't control it.
Well, I can these days. I know where it comes from. Because then I got checked out. I thought I was having a physical problem.
You're not on medication?
No.
See, I'm on a little bit of the same medication since '96.
Oh, okay.
And it's
for the panic attacks?
Yeah, it works prophylactically, so it works best if it stays in your system a little bit. So then if I get symptoms of panic, I can think to myself, well, I'm on Klonopin, it's in my blood, so it's actually impossible this is happening. Mm-hmm. And I go, I have a stuffy nose on an airplane. That's what's happening. My nose is stuffy. I'm not getting enough breath. Mm-hmm. Or I stayed up all night last night. I'm a little disoriented. That's a symptom.
Now you can basically take a step back and a pause and realize where it's coming from.
Without that medication.
Yeah, well, I do, and because I do everything naturally. I take this juice that's amazing. Actually, you asked me about my hair. I restored my hair. But I never had good hair. That's what's so funny about you saying it.
Well, you should do commercials for that.
But this, I have a thing that you would know if I'm having one. It'd be funny if we were on the same show. You and I have never worked together. If we're on the same show, and both of us had panic attacks during the show.
I'll go on first.
And then we can pass off to say, I'm over mine now, you can come back. But I have a...
I didn't even get it down at first. I'm on first. I have a panic attack and I leave. Yeah. You're 6 minutes in. I'm like, I'm better.
It's like tag team wrestling. You're up.
I can't reach.
You know how you know I'm having one? I grab the microphone. I grab the stand. And it becomes my absolute crutch. It's
the mooring ball.
It's unbelievable. And I've gotten through
It's very interesting.
Many shows. Oh, if there was no mic stand, I don't even know if I could get through. So let me tell you the thing that comes up in my head during a panic attack.
But
you won't believe this one.
Real quick.
What's that?
Let's get to that next, though.
Okay.
The microphone stand thing is very interesting because you're present. It's right in front of you. You have to put your whole hand around. You don't grab it with like 3 fingers. You put your whole.
It's my staff will comfort me.
You are there. You are here. Be here now.
Yeah.
That's really cool that works for you.
That's my center.
Intuitiveness.
Yeah, and that if it wasn't for a mic stand, if I just had my 2 hands, I don't even know what I would do.
Just pick a skinny guy out of the audience and hold his dick.
Once in a while I'll sit on the stool for a couple seconds, but then I panic about that they're judging me
It's like being stoned at a party.
Nobody
knows you're high.
The bad high. The bad high.
Like, wow, how long have my hands been up this high? I got to put them down, but don't put them down. Everyone's going to notice you're putting your hands down.
Exactly.
I'll put them down real slow when somebody else is talking.
Those paranoid days.
It's like, what the fuck? Just put your hands down.
That was the worst.
Nobody knows you're high.
I used to be in college.
When I'm high, it's the first thing I say. I'm really high, just so you know.
I was in college, and a girl would walk into the cafeteria that I'd slept with, and with all my buddies, I'd go, don't look now. And I'd like freak out. I go, there she is. And they would all stand at once. You mean her? I would freak out. Yeah, being high was never good for me. I always wanted to be high like the smart guys. There was guys like Bill McCarty. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah.
Like he would get high.
I love being high.
And he would become smarter. I thought I was smart, and I would write the stuff down and read it the next day. It was absolute gibberish. It was insanity. So I can't go there. So the panic attacks.
Well, I just use the words modality and aggregate. So
you also use prophylactic. Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm thinking he puts a condom on his head. When his
head's when I'm high.
When his head's bothering him, he goes to the drugstore and buys rubbers.
My only mistake was asking for eye drops. I would have had it, babe.
So here's a reference for you that you would remember.
And then
this is what goes.
The panic attack. Circle back to.
No, this is what I'm talking about. When I'm having a panic attack,
okay.
The visual I've had so many times is Dick Shawn. Do you know the reference?
He died on stage.
Do you know how many fucking times I have thought of Dick Shawn? I'm going to be the next Dick Shawn where they're going to think it's part of my act. His son was there.
More people will know you than Dick Shawn. That's like the weirdest thing.
Well, no, they wouldn't.
Yes, they would. He was like
he was a legend. from the producers. From the producers.
In a very small wheelhouse.
Well,
the spectrum was tiny.
When he had that happen, and then I started having the panic attacks, that was my visual. Even if it happened 20 years before, I'm going to be the next Dick Shawn.
He was Hitler?
And they're not going to know. Huh?
Was it?
Springtime for Hitler in the producers.
He, for the listeners, this guy had a one-man show off Broadway. Mm-hmm. And in the intermission, he would just lay down on a bench. Mm-hmm. The second act opened with
very
him
avant-garde.
asleep on a park bench. Yeah. So he's like, I'm actually going to tap out. I got a 15, 20-minute intermission. He would take a little nap.
Yeah.
And the curtain opens, and he's laying there with a newspaper over
and his son, by the way, was the stage manager.
He's laying there.
Yeah.
And the audience starts laughing, and his son goes,
God.
"This is not part of the act. He's probably dead." And he runs, and that's how he finds out his father's dead, died on stage. And the audience is like, "This is hilarious."
Right. They thought it was part of the shtick. They thought
Sean, you know how to play dead, goddammit.
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan was there.
So I think of him when I have the panic attacks. Now, I don't have them as much.
What color is this panic?
I dealt with it.
What color is this panic?
What color is the panic?
Before you answer that, where is the absolute first place you feel your panic?
Heart.
Okay.
Races.
But you feel something other than your heartbeat.
Higher in the chest. Yeah, higher in the chest.
Thing. What color is it? What color is it? And is it a
yellow.
Solid, a gas, a yellow?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. And is it a gas, liquid, solid?
It would be more of a liquid, but a very beating. It would be like yellow rapids going through my chest, and then it goes up to my head.
I could ask this every show.
It goes to my head. It becomes flop sweat. Like, here's another reference, like Albert Brooks from Broadcast News. The flop sweat. I mean, and I'm going, they're all noticing. That's the thing, is they're all going to watch me die, and they're all noticing that this is happening, and no one ever has. Best friends have never noticed it.
No, they don't notice.
They don't know.
It's such a brain glitch.
Isn't it crazy? And I can go
hives.
on with my act.
Some people get asthma. Some people get hives. We got this.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I dealt with it, but it's interesting to hear that you also have had them, and it's paralyzing. But we still do it because we have to do it.
Cyclical on the podcast, and I get more emails about this.
Really?
Saying, thanks for talking about this.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell every guy out there, because I say it every interview. I've done this on radio interviews and everything. We want to fix stuff on ourselves. We're guys. We want to change the light bulb ourselves. My ex-wives would be like, "Why are you doing the dishes?" Because we fucking like getting shit done. Mm-hmm. That's what, I don't know what to tell you. We want to fix ourselves. You don't know anything about psychopharmacology. You don't know anything about chemistry, brain chemistry. You're not a evolutionary psychologist. The only person that could really help you is someone else. And there's nothing more manly you will ever do than asking somebody for help. I swear to God, I've done it. Craig's done it.
It's like I haven't. That's not my answer.
Thanks for helping the pitch, Craig. So if you're suffering, don't tell anybody and just fight your way through it. We'll be back into this.
It's just not my solution. I have a different solution.
You ask someone for help.
You're not going to want to hear this.
No, I do, because
you're not going to want to hear it because it's not. Well, Coach, it's definitely not something you have embraced, obviously, for many years, and you have a very strong opinion about it.
Hold on, you don't know my opinions about anything.
What's that? I just heard it.
I didn't give you my opinion on it.
Well, that wasn't your opinion, or your experience.
My opinion was, thanks for going along.
No, your opinion was you have to go to somebody. That's your opinion.
I said no. I said there's nothing more manly.
Can we repeat that? Can we replay that back?
She doesn't have to have photographic memory.
Okay.
I
have that with you too.
There's nothing more manly than asking someone for help, is what I said. Because we don't want to ask for help because we feel like it's emasculating and we look helpless.
Correct.
Admitting you're helpless is the most manly thing you could ever do.
Correct.
However, was my opinion.
My opinion, or the difference is my experiences. That's the other thing that's different for me in comedy these days is, well, for the last 20-some years, is if you share your experience, nobody can deny it. They can deny your opinion, and they get angry with your politics. But if I say, I met Donald Trump, and this is my experience, I met Joe Biden, this is my experience, they can't deny it.
Yeah.
But here's my experience in this. The only answer
I deny that.
Has always been spiritual.
Yeah.
So I have to go to what I call God.
There has to be
and not a person, is what I'm saying. I don't go to a pharmacologist.
That works for some people.
And
that works for a great deal of people.
It has worked for me.
I mean, there's churches because it works for people.
Well, not that.
What I said is still an accurate statement.
Yeah, I'm not in.
We're not arguing here.
I'm saying I'm not into.
We are
organized religion is never going to save me, but a relationship with some sort of higher source within me. Yeah. That's where I have to go to. So it's within me. There's nobody on stage that I can call. I can't call a pharmacist on stage.
My point is that when you turn it over to a higher power, you're asking for help.
Exactly, but it's not a person. That's what I said was the difference.
All right.
I'm not going to a guy
Democratic debate here
with a script.
What do I look like, Hiawatha Warren or whatever he calls her?
Pocahontas.
Whatever. What a fucking maniac. Let's not even get into it.
Yeah, that's a whole other.
So my panic is white. Blue, like a barely blue rose, like a white blue liquid.
Okay. Oh, you're liquid too.
It's right. If you drew like a diagonal from the back of my neck to my Adam's apple, it's there, and then it just kind of increases each end, like into my head and into like my nuts, like straight through.
Do you shake?
Huh?
You shake?
I do it. Yeah, everything. Mostly, I'm just. It's. I had one this summer flying back from Cincinnati. I was
about to ask you that. So it's not only on stage?
No, on stage I never get them.
What?
Because I'm on a medication that blocks it from happening.
Oh my God.
Klonopin is an anti-seizure medication, and if you don't have seizures, it redirects itself to stop the flow of adrenaline and endorphins at life-saving levels. It just closes the hatches on the submarine. So it's just not an option. And if you don't have anything, it'll just make you go to sleep.
That's interesting. So, mine have only been on stage. That's when they happen.
It's like loss. Yeah. I mean, I get weird.
It's performance anxiety adds to it, by the way. The performance anxiety adds to the judgment of the people. How are you?
I don't ever think about that.
Okay. Well, that's good for you. So you're healthy in that area.
I don't have to as proof because they're there. I don't have to worry about their judgment. They're there because they like me.
Well... Some might not be.
That's my experience.
Some might not be, right? That's how I look at it. Some
I look
at some faces, and
they might
have been brought by someone. They might have just been there because they want a night out of comedy. I have no idea who I am.
You're right again. I'm wrong. You're grabbing like these odd branches on the. Like I don't need to win any of this. Sure.
Well, we just have different experiences. It was interesting to me to hear you say that you don't have them on stage.
And I told you why, and you told me that was incorrect.
I didn't say it was incorrect. Play it back.
They might not be there to see you. Like, don't put that in my head, you creep. Jesus, I've been sailing here. Yeah, he's right. Some people just got brought, and by definition and by averages, someone doesn't want to be.
Yeah, they could not want to be there. They don't have.
Well, I'm going to win them over.
They probably know you.
Why am I shouting?
But they don't. But some don't know me, and so that's what I think. And it's there's where admitting the vulnerability on the judgment from the mother and the father that raised me. Yeah, that stuck with me.
It's all from the living room, man.
Yeah,
everybody out there.
That stuck with me.
I don't want to talk about my childhood. Well, then you're not going to move forward.
When you do my podcast, I'm going to ask you about your childhood.
Okay. I was a gypsy.
Were you?
No, I was a hillbilly.
Yeah?
That was my high school.
I'm trying to figure out which of these is sincere and true.
We'll find out on my podcast. To Craig Shoemaker's podcast.
Yeah.
So hit subscribe when you go there.
I just had a major epiphany happen with my mom, which is going to help me with the judgment. After all these years, a major, like one of those epiphanies that is an all-timer. You know what I mean? You'll hear people have like, well, my life changed, and it really didn't. I
had one 3 years ago, too, that changed.
And this is one that's like profound, that lasts and will last forever.
Let's hear it. I'll tell mine, too.
Well, my mom didn't speak to me for years. You know, a lot of judgment, a lot of shame.
Craig, she's deaf. This is rude to even talk about.
Problem with being with a comic.
Problem?
That's the problem.
Most guys enjoy it. Why didn't she speak? Wow, like that's...
So...
I'm sorry, first of all.
Well, so I have a long, what people think are tragic stories. To me, they're not, because I got through all of them, all of these things. But one of the biggest tragedies for me was... my dad left when I was born, and, he became a cult leader. That's a whole other story. By the way, Richard Jenney.
Yeah, don't share that story on my podcast.
Richard Jenney, I took him to...
we're done here. What the fuck are you talking about? Your dad was a cult leader?
Yeah.
And we're getting to it like right as we have to end this podcast?
Oh, really?
Fucking maniac? Jay, good to be here. You know, my dad was a cult leader.
That's how you start the Pocono Mountains, of which you know the Poconos.
That's how you start a podcast.
And he ran, and 75 mules. It's called Pocono Adventures on Mules, and he has a harem of women that one of the greatest.
Is he still kicking?
He is, yeah.
And is the cult going?
No, the cult's faded. He was up to 14 women.
I get talking back into it.
He had 14 women at his maximum, and as a matter of fact, I know it's called his harem because I was playing the Poconos, and the guy's giving me a tour with that Shoemaker Cole accent, and he goes, "Over here, Craig, you got your racquetball. Over here, you got your quoits. Do you know what quoits are? We got quoits here if you want to play with the quoits." And he goes, "Oh my gosh, there's AJ Shoemaker and his harem. What's that nut doing here?" And I go, "That's my dad."
That's amazing.
And he walks up, he goes. He stole my complimentary cheese tray. He goes, "Oh, the girls at the ranch will love this."
Did you know your dad was going to be there?
No, he
Did he know that was you?
It was Caesars in the Poconos.
Did he know it was you?
Well, yeah, he was there to see me.
He left when you were born. I said,
"Oh no, I've known him for years through all of his entrepreneurial."
So he circled back.
That's a French. He would come back if he needed. My mother would say, he'll come back in a time of need when he needed a cosigner on a loan.
That's right.
But he would always come back when he needed something.
So how long
money
after he left
usually.
You at birth was your first cognitive memory of him returning? Because he was a stranger when you met him.
He came back, and I had my first booze at about 5 years old on his lap. It was called a highball.
So he's cool. I want to meet him.
He got me loaded before I was in kindergarten.
At 5.
Yeah, and then he would come back with different. This is a whole other podcast. He would come back with all these different ideas. Then when I was 7, he says, "Hey, Barbara." I do a great imitation of him. "Hey, Barbara, if you want your child support," which he never gave, "you got to invite your big-breasted friends over. No flat-chested because I'm selling bras." He had bras meets Amway, like a pyramid bra operation. So
Every listener right now.
I look into the living room.
Where's the time on the podcast right now?
43.
Oh, geez.
At 43 minutes. That's where the impression of his dad was. You sound like someone famous, and I can't place it. Yeah. Tweet us, Instagram, DM, whatever. Yeah. Do it again. What famous person? I don't know. It's somebody way off the beaten path.
I'll talk like him and some of the things that it stayed with me for the rest of my life. "Hey, I need you like Custer needed more Indians." That was his favorite line. And he also said,
it's almost like Nicholson.
"Yeah, you're useless as tits on a bull." He would repeat that too.
So he was a real motivator.
So when me and Jenny and Glenn Farrington were touring the Poconos,
what happened to Mulrooney?
This was the Farrington days. We were walking in late at night, and his harem is all on the floor, but he picks the one that sleeps with him.
Right, that's where
every night he picks the one. They roll up the sleeping bag, and he calls himself, "I'm the king of the Poconos. You get over that comedy shit, you can be part of my empire. So I'm going to be Prince of the Poconos." So
what was the empire?
It was mules, 75 mules, all over. Like you take people on mule rides in the mountains. And he goes, "This is no pony ride. We'll take you up and down ravines." So we go in there. Right? And we go, and this is Jenny's favorite line for me, Richard Jenny. I go, "Shh. See, look at there's goats in there. There's like women all strewn everywhere. And there's one who goes into the king's quarters with them, and they take care of him." And then I go, "Hey, guys, you got to wake up my father." And Jenny turns to me and goes, "Shoo, fuck your old man," and a mule he rode in on.
Wow.
I'll never forget
That's amazing.
We went out on mule rides the next day. But one of my big memories when we were growing up, 7 years old, he comes back with the bra business. And I look into the living room, hadn't seen him in years, and there's my father smoking a pipe with all my aunts.
This sounds like it's in a Wes Anderson movie. Bring all your big-breasted friends over. I'm selling... Because he didn't want to have sex with them. He just wanted to sell them bras.
Yeah, so that's right. And then you get 6 people to sell bras. That's how it works. It's multi-level bra marketing. So I look in there. He's got a pipe, and he's got my Aunt Barbara, my Aunt Fran, aunts in quotes. They was
Spread Eagle.
No, they're all around him in bras. And he goes, "Come on, Dottie, show how it lifts and separates. This is a 3-class model for the full-figured woman." He goes, "Come on, don't be shy. It's just you women and me. Turn around." And and then I just looked at him going, "Oh my God, that's my dad." And it was such an image for me to have this enter into my space of not knowing what a man was. And that this guy was representing men to me. And
How old were you at this time?
7. But then I I mean, there's just one story after another.
There's a giant time in your life where you also acknowledged, and that's not how I want to be. And you've gone the other way entirely.
That's how I raised my kids.
You're a beautiful, like, family man.
Yes.
Like, you're all about it.
That's how I raised my kids.
When I was married, and people would be like, hey, we're going to go see this, like, whether it be a strip club or whatever, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm fucking married.
Yeah,
I'm going out and chasing these dummies.
Well, no, strip clubs are great. No, okay.
They are, actually. They are. But just,
by the way, I have the greatest wife, on the planet. I could call her from a strip club.
Yeah.
And she'd just
That's
say...
That's who you married, that chick.
Oh, my God.
But what was the profound epiphany?
She has zero... Oh, so with my mom. So my mom didn't speak to me. She didn't speak to me for years. She buddied up to my ex-wife, who literally has destroyed my life. Like...
I don't know what that's about, Craig.
See, we have a lot in common. We should have met...
we're the Wonder Twins have hurt.
We should do 3 podcasts.
We will.
And I've actually heard this before because I don't know you.
I mean, African American looks black.
I don't. So there's all these discoveries.
I thought you were talking about your mom, though.
No, my mom. So what happened was, so she is in contact with my ex-wife, who is saying, stuff that you literally can't write this, like what I did to my kids, allegedly. I mean, we went through, it cost me $1 million just to have the 50% custody, just made up everything you could possibly imagine to this day. So my mom, I know. Because she's more like my mom,
I know.
She buddies up to her and ignores my great wife of 14 years. So
what gain?
So I had, that's a whole other, that's a whole other story that I can't. There you go. Well, but I'll tell you what happened. And this was the epiphany. And I've never had something like this strongly happen to my entire psyche. So I carried this around with me, like, why would she do that? Why would she only pay attention to 2 of the kids and not these 2 little beautiful other children that I have? Why would she do such a thing? Why would she punish me like that? So then I got into acceptance and forgiveness. That happened. That already was going on. Then she calls my wife and says, I'm coming out. And, of course, she's going to visit my ex, which I didn't let it bother me this time. And I'll tell you what happened. I found, through fate or whatever it was, cleaning the garage, old CDs of her on my radio show. It was called What's Buggin' Barb. I'll tell you what's bugging me today. Now, feminists, don't you call me, but I don't like female train conductors. You could call me a sexist. So, and she would have this list, female train conductors.
That's hilarious.
She says, I'm sorry if I'm a sexist, but
I don't like him either.
I'll get off the train.
Female airline pilot? Yeah, hell yeah.
so she wouldn't stand for that either. But she has a thing called What's Buggin' Barb, and I listened to them, and I let my kids hear it to see if they thought it was funny. I was howling laughing, and I went, boom, this is why I'm funny. I have to give it credit. And I just saw her in a whole other light. She came to visit. We went to the farmer's market. We laughed our asses off. She has all these quirks, and I just accepted all of them and understood that the reasoning she has, I can't get in whatever the reasons are. I just have to accept her. And it was that moment that we have this incredible relationship today. This happened a few months ago. And I mean, I am completely free. Not a little bit. It's 100%. And now we're back and forth. I'll show you the text messages almost every day, because I said, you know what I inherited from you? What's Buggin' Craig. So I'll give her a What's Buggin' Craig, and now we're going to write a book together of what's bugging us. Yeah.
It's got to be 41 projects on the board now. Jeez.
You're actually right.
Something else on Casey's
I didn't even add this one. And she said that as I was thinking it. I'm going, wow, this should be a book, the mother and father, a mother and son. And it's a real healing. I have an organization, a nonprofit called Laughter Heals. And I founded it because one of my best friends, who I always consider my friends like family, because my family's not very good, with the no talking to, is a lot of craziness. But I have friends, and my friend got brain cancer. He wrote Cool Runnings, Little Giants, and he directed my first movie. He got brain cancer. That's the day I said, you know what? I'm going to be of service and bring laughter healing to people who need it, and that's everyone. And it is such a shift that goes on. And sure enough, my mom and I, and she has this husband, she makes fun of him. We're howling laughing together. So it's the greatest way to bond.
What changed was you.
Of course.
So
she didn't change one bit.
She still
but I
goes to your
accepted
ex?
it, huh?
Yeah.
But I'm okay with her talking to my ex. If that's what she needs to do.
That's your side
But
of
I'm
the
now
streets.
not looking at it as she's punishing me. It's just what
she was
does.
never punishing.
It's just what she does. It's like
She never was. Yeah, you know that.
Well,
She was never like, wait till I do this to Craig.
I didn't know that.
Well, you do now, and now you can look back and go,
Yeah.
she was never about that. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and she actually said to me on the way to the airport, I mean, I don't want to get choked up. It was beautiful.
Go ahead. I do it all the time.
She says to me, and I mean, I went through hell. And with this horrible, and still do, being accused of doing these things to my children, I couldn't even think of, let alone do. And I'm thinking, and then she said to me on the way to the airport, just out of nowhere, I didn't ask for it. That's the other thing, you can't ask for it. The timing on something is never your timing. It's on some other time, some divine time. And she just turns to me and she goes, I never believed the word she said. And it meant the world to me. And that moment was so freeing. I got it. I just got it. And like I said,
you were born a Buddhist, man. You can't ask for it.
Yeah.
Like you can't grasp water. You can't straighten water with a flat iron.
No.
You can't see your reflection in boiling water. And you knew that by putting down the poison you were holding.
Yeah.
That was blocking the road.
And that's forgiveness.
I'm proud of you, buddy.
The F word. I brought out the F word.
I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
I love you, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks.
I mean it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Straight up.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. Like.
Yeah. Well, I can tell, like I said, I've never known you before, but I can tell, I was talking to Corey earlier about this. I'm a psychic, literally a psychic. And it's manifested itself in very, very cool ways. And Corey says, yeah, you're like comics. You're intuitive. And so my intuition on you is that we share a lot of pain.
Yeah, it's the frequency.
And now to hear the specifics on the pain of the panic attacks of the ex-wife.
Like me, you, Chris Titus, and Jim Florentine.
Oh, I've always been told Titus.
We're one person.
I don't know about Florentine,
yes,
but I've heard years. Every time I go to Tommy T's, they'll say, you should talk to Chris Titus. And because Titus,
fascinating.
He
He's
is.
a good dude, man.
Yeah. And I know I have gotten to know him a little bit in the recent years. And again, I intuitively picked up from you that there are these commonalities, that we share, but we're all off, doing our thing, and we're headliners, so we don't get to run into one another. Yeah. So I'm really glad that I got to finally do your podcast.
Yeah, you're gonna do it a lot. Craig, you're gonna do it a lot because we're gonna get into that stuff, and I want to tell you what my epiphany was because it's hand in glove with yours.
Oh wow!
My mom visited me 4 years ago, and my dad hadn't told any of us she had Alzheimer's or dementia. She came to my door. I sent the car for her to grab her at the airport because I was coming back from
Parents married?
Yeah.
They stayed married?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
And my mom died a year and 2.5 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she came to my front door. I opened the door, and she goes, JJ, is my car in the driveway? I have no idea anything's wrong with my mother. And I go, no. She goes, does this building have a second floor? I said, yeah. She goes, is my car in the driveway? No. Where's my car? It's at home. Well, then how did I get here? I sent you a car. Is my car in the driveway? This is at my front door for minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I panicked, and I was so mad at my father, but he was like picking the right time to share that information. And air travel really rattles the cage of somebody in that condition. You're in a different time zone. Everything's new. You're in the air. You're in the sky like a Greek god. And I was so mad. And my whole life, I go like, my dad didn't give me enough affection. I wish this. I wish that. Mm-hmm. And it came to me, your parents have loved you with 100, all capitals, % of everything they got.
Everything they got.
There is no rainy day coming where you're going to get that extra 11% you've been like a fucking baby about, in my case. Mm-hmm. Like, well, I wish it didn't happen. I don't know what to tell you. Mm-hmm. But however your parents been shitty to you or absent or whatever, that's their 100. And if God himself said to my father, weren't you a more attentive parent to JJ? My father, who's a Christian, would say to God, who the fuck are you to ask me about the love of my fucking son, my only son? Who the fuck? There'd be a fight.
Right.
God versus many God, And that's when I just let go, and I was so embarrassed about the way I described my parents.
Yeah,
and I reached out to them crying and apologized.
Yeah.
They didn't need to know that, but I had to unload that shit. Like, my dad was real like, nah, he wasn't huggy. You know what? He created what he had out of nothing because his dad was very cold.
And we're kind of programmed also how they should be, and
everyone is. This
exactly. Like they're supposed to say,
hangover.
especially, when you move away, they're supposed to be send you this, do this, tell you this.
Oh, my knees are bad. Well, don't call me from the golf course.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's
so logically, we're going down the logical list of, wow, you couldn't do this. I can't borrow your car when I'm, visiting you, really, but you do with my sister. All that stuff.
Or you give me things with conditions. Last time you borrowed it, this happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's just there's the
you left the window open in the
but
garage.
It's really nice that you and I let go of the list. The list is gone. It's torn up. It's burnt.
Can't keep a scorecard. And body wins.
And that's it. Yeah.
Body loses.
And by the way, I did have a really funny thing. You talk about what your mom was saying. My mom is vain. That's not said in a bad way, but very vain. And she won't wear a hearing aid, but she's losing her hearing. This is an actual conversation that took place. I'm driving along. She's visiting. She goes, Craig, what are you going to do about that flood at your house? I go, that's all right, Mom. I got my own wet vac. Wet vac, she thought I said a derogatory term for a Mexican. That's what she heard.
Wet vac.
So the conversation goes, my, Craig, that's not a very nice thing to say. I said, that's all right, Mom. A lot of people have them. It's California. And it goes 10 minutes of, I thought you were kind of like a liberal, and I'm really surprised you would say this. What's liberal about that? I got mine in the garage. They're handy.
They are handy.
She thinks,
Mexicans are very handy.
He finally says,
and they like it.
10 minutes later, she goes, she's fascinated. She thinks I have a Mexican dude in my garage that is handy, that takes care of the water flood, of the flood. And finally she goes, where do you get one? I said, in front of Home Depot. They're right there. You got to go in and pay.
Craig Shoemaker, if he's on tour in your town, go see him. Because I say this about, 20% of comedians that have been guests, it's a sure thing. You go see Craig Shoemaker, there's no bad night. He's the guy. I don't know why I'm starting to sound like Nick Nolte and Thin Red Line, Stavros, you have to take the hill. I don't care, Stavros.
It's a rag top, Reggie.
That's teacher, Nick Nolte. And 48 hours.
48 hours. Exactly.
My man. Yeah. All right, Craig Shoemaker, this is More Stories. If you need some help, get unstuck, CoachJJ37@gmail.com. Hey, guys, be well. Love wins. Put your name on it.